I end up spending a lot of time at people's kitchen tables and seeing a level of poverty and difficult choices that I never dreamed I'd see in this country. Elderly people who are cutting up their prescription pills to make them last the week so they can buy food. Young mothers who are downgrading ingredients at the grocery store to get through the checkout line. A young kid who approached me in New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago and said every Tuesday he makes a decision about whether to fill his car up with gas or buy a meal that day. A young couple who told me they had a big argument sitting in their rental flat with a baby crying on their lap and having to decide whether that baby is $50 sick or $100 sick or $500 sick before they bring them to a hospital. These are choices that, for the American middle class, it's not supposed to look like that. And today, the average salary in this country is now $5,000 less than the cost of basic human needs. How do Americans dealing with the $5,000? You get the bare minimum, you're still $5,000 in debt at the end of the year. How are Americans dealing with that? They're putting on their credit cards. And Visa, MasterCard, Wells Fargo, Morgan, Chase, and Citibank are charging 22% interest. So if the mafia charged you that much, it would be called loan sharking, they go to prison. But for these companies, it's business as usual. And who do you think owns every one of those companies? BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. So they're doing it right in front of us. They're strip mining the wealth of the American middle class, the vitality of this country. If you own a home, you care about your community. You care about your police, your hospitals, your firefighters. You care about your schools. You go to the PTA meeting. You care about the appearance and your neighbors. But more importantly, you have an equity stake. You have an entree to American capitalism because you own equity, which means you can borrow money. It was a period of time after 50 years after World War II when the United States of America, the American middle class, became the greatest economic generator in the history of mankind. When my uncle was president, we owned in this country half the wealth on the face of the country, of the world. But most importantly, we created a housing boom immediately after World War II. With the GI Bill and a lot of different other legislation, we got that entire generation of Americans into homes. Because they were in homes, they could borrow money, and they started buying business. You buy a business, whether it's a restaurant, a retail, or a yoga studio, or whatever they were building. And there was this ferment of economic activity that just exploded and made us the richest country in the history of the world. Today, we're going from a ownership economy to a renter economy. And in doing that, we go from being citizens ultimately to being subjects.